Hey, we back. I'm here on OWO today, and I'm talking about praise and cookies, which I've mentioned in plenty of my videos before because they are reasonably obvious and known bit of the bot, obviously. Especially in the leaderboard one, probably, but I feel like we could do a dedicated video on how to get them. That seems like a topic that I have not talked about much before, and plenty of people are going to be after praise and cookies and curses as well. You know, you can pick one. Now, I've mentioned in the past about going for either praise or curses. The way that they work, if you are not aware, is you have luck points. If you curse somebody or you are prayed for by someone else, then your luck points goes up by 1. If you pray for someone else or you get cursed, your luck points goes down by 1. Luck points can go into the negative, and there is a curse leaderboard as well as a pray leaderboard. So you kind of need to choose whether you want to go for praise or curses, and then you get a really high positive score or a really low negative score. Right? Either works. As you can see, I go for the positive score, so I've got just over 6,000 luck points, which is not a huge amount, but it's pretty respectable, I would say. I've obviously been using the bot for a long time, and I get my my praise through cursing Medei. Just randomly chose that. Worth noting that you can indeed pray or curse for bots. That will still work, and of course the bot itself will get a much lower curse score because you do that. So if I do OWO top curse on this server, for instance, you will see Medei is actually pretty high up there because I have cursed it like 6,000 times. So makes sense. Also worth noting that both praise, curses and cookies don't do anything. There is a lot of people out there, especially when it comes to luck, that assume luck makes you get better like hunts or something like that. Worth noting that that is not true. So once you've figured out what you're going for praise, you're going for curses, you're going for cookies, whatever, how do you then get them? Well, like I say, you can curse bots, you can curse other players, you can also give cookies to bots if you want to, although that doesn't help you at all. In order to get them, what you're mostly going to want to do is type the command as often as possible yourself. You can either pray for yourself, you can curse yourself, and in order to do that you just type like OWO pray, for example, and that will pray for yourself, or you curse and pray other people or bots. And then for cookies, of course, you can give a cookie to someone. You can't give a cookie to yourself. So now we get to the biggest part of collecting praise and cookies, which is getting other people to do it. You need to get other people to give you cookies, and if you want to get lots of praise and curses, you need to get other people to do that as well, because of course you've got a 5-minute cooldown on praise and you've got a day-long cooldown on cookies, so you're not going to be getting that much by yourself. Now, one thing that you can do is you can organize with someone to swap. So for example, cookies, you can say I'll give you my cookie as long as you give me your cookie, right? And then you are both getting +1 cookie per day. This is not a bad start. That's what I've done for the last a while, and I've got myself a fair few cookies because of it. Again, this is not an insane number of cookies, but like you can tell, you know, it's a pretty respectable amount of cookies, and that's because me and someone else trade cookies every day. And I've kept that up for a long time, as you can imagine. This is what, like almost 4 years worth of cookies, pretty much. You can do the same with praise and curses. If you find one person that wants curses and you want praise, or vice versa, you can say, I will curse you, you pray for me, and then you're both gaining 2 points every 5 minutes when you do the command, right? Because when you pray for them, they gain a luck and you gain a curse. And when they then curse you, they gain a luck and you gain a curse, right? So it's 2 every 5 minutes. So that's a pretty good way of doing it as well. So that's the starting position. This is, you are successfully gaining some of the resource. You are trading with another player. It is completely fair trade and you're all good. The next step up from that, if you want to get on the global leaderboards, because of course if we have a look at, for example, the luck leaderboard globally, you'll start to notice that there's some pretty high numbers up there, pretty high indeed. Getting that much luck is not going to happen with just trading with one person. For that kind of thing, you need to have a large group of people praying for you, cursing you, or giving you cookies, right? And there's a couple of ways to do this. Either you own like a server which is dedicated to it, where the entire server is dedicated to giving one person the cookies. And so, like, I don't know if this is what Dyer does, for example, but Dyer at the top, just suppose I know he does own a server. I've not joined it, so I don't know. But anyway, yeah, just suppose Dyer's server is represented by this first place on the leaderboard. And because Dyer owns the server, he is the one on the leaderboard, but the entire server is working together to give him the luck points, and then therefore they get their representation at the top of the leaderboard, right? And in the meantime, everyone on the server is going down in curses, so they're pretty happy about it anyway. They can all collect curses, Dyer can collect luck. Now, like I say, I don't know if that's actually what's happening in this situation, it's just an example. But that is a way to do it. If you own a big server with a lot of OWO players, you could say, yeah, I will collect such and such, you guys will help me out with that, and then we can all basically share the first place or whatever position on the leaderboard you manage to get. The downside of this, of course, is you need to own a really big server to do it, or at least have a hierarchical position on the server such that you can organize people into doing something like that. That's kind of difficult. And so the easier method to do it is to buy them. Now, this is basically the same thing. You say to an entire server or potentially multiple servers, I will buy praise, cookies, curses, whatever for you for a set price. And you say, like, every time you, for example, pray me, I will give you however much money. Now, of course, money is not super useful in OWO. We've talked about this many times before, but people seem to want money, and buying praise, curses, and cookies with money is totally an option. So you can go to people and you can say, I will give you money in return for these things. And then you don't need to organize people into doing it. They will just have a reputation for paying out when you pray for them, and then so people are going to do it in order to get the money. Now, prices for the praise and the cookies and whatever kind of vary depending on the person, obviously, depending on the server, depending on how much competition there is, etc., etc. But as long as you're in some reasonably large servers, you can probably find them. Any kind of big OWO server will probably have them. The official server, here it is, probably has some if you want to go look here. But it doesn't have dedicated channels for it, so you want to probably find other large OWO servers where they might have dedicated channels for it. My one is an example. I wouldn't describe mine as a particularly large OWO server, but we do have a channel here, currently owned by Mo here. And as you can see, people will pray and give cookies to Mo, and then Mo gives them money back, right? That's basically the concept, and therefore goes up the leaderboards. And you can do things like that. Of course, in order to do things like that, you need to have a lot of money. How do you get money? Well, I've done a lot of videos on that in the past. The bottom line is you hunt. And you can argue with me till the cows come home, gambling is not profitable. So you hunt, and then you can put that money into cookies and praise and stuff like that. Now, you may say, but if I'm going to be getting loads of money anyway in order to buy this stuff, surely I could just go up the money leaderboard instead. And you would be correct. This is why you have to pick which leaderboard you want to go up. Do you want the money leaderboard? Do you want the cookie leaderboard? Do you want the pray leaderboard? Like whatever, right? All these kind of leaderboards, and you kind of need to pick one and go for it. If you are picking, for example, the cookie leaderboard, then you're going to want to spend all your money to get cookies, right? And then you go up the leaderboard. If you want to go for money, then you don't do that, and you can't go up the cookies instead. Maybe if you're going for the money leaderboard, what you want to do is sell your cookies to someone. Every day you give your cookie to someone who is paying for them, and you get a little bit of money in return. Like I say, it depends on the prices, but if we go back to the example on my server, I believe Mo gives something like 8,000 money if you give them a cookie. Something like that. It might be 10,000. That looks like 10,000 actually me. So there you go. 10,000 money if you give them a cookie, which is not bad, right? If you go to a different server, it might be more, it might be less. Like I say, it depends on the person. But yeah, so you could do something like that to get yourself a bit of extra money to go up the money leaderboard. Realistically, 10,000 money per day isn't going to get you very high on the money leaderboard, but every little helps, right? And if you're doing praise at the same time, and then you're doing your regular hunts as well, like you could make some reasonable amounts of cash by selling to these people. And you see, the end is that everyone wins. You win because you go up the money leaderboard, they win because they go up the cookie leaderboard, or whatever it is they're going for, right? So it's just a case of trading. It's a step up from the I will trade a cookie for your cookie, right? It's a step up from that, but at the end of the day, we're all just trading and we're all just trying to get higher on the leaderboards, right? So it's the same concept. Anyway, I think that was pretty much everything that I wanted to say. Hopefully you get my points. You see how you can collect these things a lot easier. Like I say at the start, worth noting that praise, curses, and cookies are all useless. But at the end of the day, so's money. So, like I also said earlier, you just pick the leaderboard that you want to go up, and you go up it, pretty much. And yeah, it's a bit of a grind, that's for sure. OWO is a big grind. If you want to get all the way up here at the top of the leaderboard, it's going to be a huge grind. And hate to say it, but if you're starting now, you're probably a bit late. It's going to take you a long time to get as much stuff as these guys have. But you can certainly do well enough. I mean, you can see me here, only top 4,000, and that's after however many years. But equally, I don't grind for luck, right? I barely play the bot at all, to be honest. I mean, that's not true. But in terms of luck, I barely play, because I only do a curse or a pray a couple times a day, and that's not really worth that much, right? If you really want to go hard on it, you can, and you absolutely can start now, and you can contest these people. It's going to take a long time. That's what I'm trying to say. And you are going to need to concentrate on it by spending your money or whatever you want to spend, doing your trading. Anyway, yeah, I will end this video here. I think that sounds good. Bye.